Now, what happened was the Ngariki, like I said, they were a large tribe. A bunch of them got killed, but there was still a lot left. And those ones who were left, when they found out what had happened, they prepared for war. And there was this place they were going to fight at, like some field. And the Ngariki came, and there were so many of them. They formed these lines, battle lines. There were 8 lines. They were 8 lines deep. And the Ngativara, Maltara and his warriors, there was just only enough to form a single line. And the Ngariki warriors, they danced. And they did like a war dance. There were so many of them, the ground shook. And Maltara, he looked at the faces of his warriors, and they were scared. He could see the fear in their eyes as they, felt the ground shake. And he walked up in front of them and he said, look, don't be scared, because if you're scared, you'll lose and you'll end up in their ovens. Basically be eaten. And so when the battle started, Maltara, instead of like engaging his whole line against their entire line, he concentrated his warriors at the middle of their line, pushed back the first line to the second line. The second, the third lines are being pushed back, but they weren't actually facing their enemies. They couldn't do anything. It made them, they felt helpless. They were scared. They ran from the field. Maltara had a great victory that time. And as they ran, basically, it was easy to kill them. And a lot of them got killed. And at that point, the Ngariki, they were broken. There were a few, and there was enough to make trouble, but they could not basically go to battle and credibly have a chance of winning. Right? Now this story isn't over. I'm going to continue it. But at this point, there's a moral in this story. It's a very important moral. Maltara, he knew the hearts of men. He told his men, he could see the fear in their eyes. And he told them, don't be scared. If you are, you'll lose and you'll end up in their ovens. Okay? When we don't know something, when we go to school, or we're trying to learn something by reading about it, something complicated or hard, when we feel ignorance, I can feel scared, I can feel sad, I can feel happy. I know what those feelings are like. What does ignorance feel like? When we're ignorant, we don't feel ignorance, rather we feel fear. Okay? So if you're doing something, you're in school and you're trying to read something or do a homework problem or in a test or listening to your teacher in school. If you don't know, you're going to feel scared. Remember what Maltara said. Right? I'll think of an example from me. I studied statistics. I took a year-long course in statistics. And what I did, what I resolved, is that I would be, that statistics, it's a tough course. There's lots of equations, there's lots of numbers. It's not something I understood. I went and bought the book in advance before the class started. I started reading through the book, chapters 1, chapter 2. Before I ever went to class, before the class ever started. And every time I came to something I didn't understand, I felt fear. And I remembered what Maltara had said. And I would face that equation or that principle in the statistics, and it was like I'd chase after it. Rather than running away and turning off the book, closing the book and going off and doing something, I would chase after that knowledge. Right? I'd go to school, I'd go to class, I'd read the book and do the homework before class. So when I was sitting in class, I already knew what questions to ask. I'd already worked on the homework. Okay? And if I ran into something that made me feel scared, where I didn't know, I remember what Maltara said. Don't be scared. If you're scared, you'll lose, and you'll end up in their ovens. We can choose to be scared of knowledge, or rather to chase after it. Wahopite ni parao.